Welcome back to the Greenhorn Photo Taker. It has been forever since there's been a moderate snowstorm on a weekend that I could gallivant around in moderate safety and still take out the camera and try to capture some wonderful landscapes. We are at the Delaware Water Gap today, of course. Every time something of interest with weather happens in my area, this is the first place I flock to. So I don't know how much we can get done. It is quite cold. It is still snowing out. Yesterday we received about 4 inches of snow. Today maybe another 2 to 4 on top of that. But like I said, too good to be true. Too much of an opportunity to sleep in on a Sunday. So let's see what we can capture. First stop is the Point of Gap Overlook. Right in one of the first stops in the gap on the PA side. And I have been here several times before. I always love the scene behind me. So come along, let's see what we can capture. Great, look at that. All right, what you have behind me is the side view of Mount Tammany. So we are on the PA side of the Delaware. Behind me is a road, then the river, and then that gorgeous Mount Tammany. Even this scene here, right, with the tree, nothing beats the winter. Nothing beats the winter. So what I think I'll do is, I think I'm going to skip the tripod and just take out the camera for a moment and try to capture some handheld shots and maybe some handheld B-roll instead of trying to really stabilize everything with the tripod in the snow. Probably would just take too long and then leave my camera exposed, but we'll see. We'll see. Luckily there is a nice setup point for me where I can keep my equipment out of the snow for a while. It is such an imposing looking mountain for New Jersey. I think that's probably here the snowplow out. I think that's probably what draws me to this location more than any other. Of course, it does not compare to some of the huge mountains that you see out west, Colorado, California, Idaho, whatever. But for New Jersey and, you know, eastern Pennsylvania, this is as imposing as it gets. It almost looks like a sheer cliff face with a bunch of, you know, exposed outcrop rocks, where normally in our area, the mountains are lush with, you know, forest and a rolling hill type of scenario. Thanks, bud. So, all in all, really great start. Nothing, I would say, portfolio worthy. I did like one of the shots in particular, just with the fog in the background and the snow on the exposed rock. Like I said, it just feels so unnatural for the area. So let's now hit our next location. We're going to not go far across the river. It's been featured on the channel, I don't know, 20 times before. But again, these places look different in the snow. So let's go back to the actual Delaware Water Gap itself and see how Tammany looks from that vantage point. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look at that. Interestingly enough, here I'm at the gap. The river is much higher than I anticipated. And I'm not really in the mood to go see where I can stand. My normal vantage point for the gap view is probably inaccessible. the banks of the river are very high. But I do see a couple of things across the river that I do like, and we'll give it a shot. So I'm not going to give up on this location, but it is definitely something that I have not seen before and not expected, which is cool, but not picturesque. So for scale reasons, the top of that, I'll call it an iceberg, is about up to my knee. And I guess the water really starts over there. And this is probably ice that has jammed up from a previous high flow. And the water is actually probably where it would be normally. I just can't see it because of the nature of all this ice. What I really like here is how the snow is clinging to the evergreen needles. It really stands out with fresh snow. Hopefully I captured something that makes that pop a little bit, especially when you contrast this side of the gap with this side of the gap. Since the New Jersey side is further away, it's definitely a little bit more hazy and blurry, which should make these pop even more as they're closer to the focal plane. At least that's the theory anyway. How cool! First person in the gap today. The roads are not plowed, and I am the first one making tracks. Oh my gosh, it is so gorgeous. What's better about this section, and I'll shut up so you can hear too. Remember all that road noise at the Point of Gap? There's no road noise over here. So let's take a moment and just listen to the sound of the snow as we move along. Yes. We are going down, that's for sure. My leg is stuck. My leg is stuck because I have crampons on. There we go. So funny. Is this just not perfect today? Oh my gosh, it is exactly what I was hoping for. What a scene and a half. Now, anyone who's watched this channel before probably realizes that I've been here so many times. When the conditions change, you must go back to your tried and true locations that you know so very well. Let's take out the camera. The snow is falling again. This is tripod worthy. Tripod worthy! So one more destination in the same area. Let's go walk Dunnfield Creek for a bit and see if there's anything I can spot of interest along the creek side. I think this would be the opportunity for something more small scale, not grand landscape, but you know, really focused in on a couple of rocks or a cascade or something along those lines. I haven't been to Dunnfield Creek in forever. It is a beautiful creek. So let's hope this works out as planned. Last goal of the day. Let's get away from that road noise one more time. This is actually the Appalachian Trail. And I just plan to, let's call it a mile. A mile or something interesting that happens first. So a mile out, mile back, or a good picture. That's my goal for the morning. Did we find it already? What do you think? This checks the boxes. I can't hear cars, it's along Dunnfield Creek, and it's a cascade in the snow. So I've only walked about 5 minutes, but I'm going to make this my spot, my last spot of the day. And I think I'll really spend a little time here truly working the composition. I want to try to focus on the entire falls, but what I really like is some of the snow-capped rocks above the falls. So I need a composition where that all comes together. Not only the rocks, but there are some rhododendron or mountain laurel behind the falls and above that really look great right now as well. So give me a few moments to get set up. There's no real spot to, you know, mount the GoPro to record that aspect of it. So bear with me, no tripod montage, but definitely tripod worthy. I ended up grabbing my circular polarizer really just to increase the exposure time. I was at 0.4 seconds, and the water looked good, but I wanted to see what it looked like more than 0.4. Maybe a second and a half. But I'm glad I grabbed it, because what it really did as well, it helped me, let me show you. When you use the circular polarizer, watch the water here. See how it has the glare on it? And then when you turn the circular polarizer, that glare goes away. That's one of the main benefits. Some people like the glare in the water, which is fine. I like the more black look, especially against the snow. So I'm leaving it on, and I'm going to increase my exposure time. All right, that'll do it for today. What a wonderful morning, and thanks for giving me your time to watch along. Signing off from Dunnfield Creek and the Delaware Water Gap. Thanks for watching. Get out, explore.